Hey my beautiful souls, welcome back to Frenemy with Jessie, the life coach. I hope everybody's been having a beautiful and blessed last couple of days. Spring is in the air. It's just amazing. If you are new here, a big welcome. Some smooches coming in because we are going to be talking about some interesting things today. So guys, we are going to be talking about frenemies today. Yes, frenemies. So if you've never heard that term, don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you. I think most of us heard that term, but if you're not familiar with it, a frenemy is a person that you spend time with, that you enjoy their company. They might be a co-worker, they might be someone that you consider a friend, but in actuality, they usually have underlying jealousy towards you, and they will cut you down in a heartbeat. They will throw you to the wolves because they technically, they pose as a friend, but in actuality, they're worse than your enemy. So we are going to be talking about it today. This topic has been coming up a lot in coaching and everyday experiences, and I was like, you know what, we need to do a video on it because unfortunately, some people do not learn the signs of frenemies. They have experienced it, but they've never truly learned the signs of how to be able to spot it. Because it is so underhanded and it is done in such a subtle way. There's subtle signs that majority of the time we don't catch on to it until the person actually reveals and takes off their mask. And we're like, oh, that's what you were about? Right? But by that time we already invested, and it could be a very heartbreaking situation. I always said personally for me, my biggest heartbreaks have been from friends. People that I've considered friends, people that I have extended my energy to, people I have helped, people did things for, and then they wind up backstabbing or betraying or doing something just underhanded. And I was like, and sometimes you don't see it coming, and sometimes I did see it coming, but I have learned those signs very, very well. And today, if you don't know those signs, or you have a friend that you're looking at like side eye, you're like, I don't know about you. Well, we're going to talk about the underhanded ways that they show their true colors. So the first sign when you are spotting a frenemy, you're going to notice this. You're going to notice that they might mimic you. So I've had this done. I've actually had this done. So when a person mimics you, it actually could be very flattering. That means that, they hold you in high regard. They like your style, they like the way you move, they like things about you. But what's super dangerous about a person who mimics you is that admiration could slowly turn into jealousy, which could slowly turn into envy. And when it turns into envy, it could become very dangerous for you and uncomfortable for you, because that's when people start rearing their ugly side, right? So jealousy and envy are two different things, and I might do a video on it, but quickly I'm just going to touch on some key points and why it could be dangerous for you. Heartbreaking mostly, right? Because when you are jealous of a person, you just might be like in a spot that things are not working out for you, and you might just want what they have. Like, man, I wish that would happen for me, or why I'm not moving, or why my business is not flourishing, or why, I can't lose weight and look like that, right? That's kind of like in the area of jealousy. But when you are envious, you feel like this person doesn't deserve what they have, or you feel like what they have should be yours. And that's when it can become dangerous for you as that person that they are envying, because they want to strip it, they want to take it away from you, and they'll go to any amount of just lying and deceit to get what they feel it should be theirs. Jealousy and envy, two different things. And sometimes a person could be jealous and never get to that point of envy. But when it gets to that point, that's when it becomes dangerous. So, like I said, the first signs of a frenemy is mimicking. So you gotta watch that carefully. Like I said, it doesn't always develop to that form of envy, but in my situation and in my situations I have coached, yeah, it has always gotten to that point. So that's the first signs that you want to start looking and observing the people around you when they start mimicking you. Start wearing what you're wearing, doing what you're doing, liking what you're liking. My second sign to notice a frenemy is the person who over-compliments you. Now, these are going to be the so-called charmers, right? When a person overly charms you, there's usually a reason for that. So beware of that person that's constantly like, you're so amazing, you're so beautiful, I wish I was just like you, wow, you do everything with blah 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 blah. Careful with that. I have had this, so I know it very, very, very well. Now, there's nothing wrong with complimenting a friend. I do it all the time. I love to give out compliments, and I truly mean it. Like, I truly mean it. Like, I can see a friend and be like, oh my God, girl, those shoes are fierce. Those shoes are everything. Or you did an amazing job. Or you're such a beautiful person. You got a beautiful heart. Like, I love to compliment my friends, but I'm not doing it to the excess. Like, you know when something's fake. You gotta be weary of that, because majority of the time when they're over complimenting you is because they're trying to blind you to not see who they truly are. So be careful with that. My third sign of a frenemy is they don't celebrate your successes. So they could do this in many different ways. So if you notice that every time you have a success or milestone or a celebration or something that you're super proud of, like, you know, you got a degree, you finished a certain course, you know, you open a business, you started a platform, you become an influencer, whatever it might be for you, whatever you know, nooks you have under your belt that is making you more of a successful person. Maybe you're just working on yourself and becoming a better person, and you know, it's just like you're happy, you're just in a happy space, and you're noticing that your friend is not celebrating that and is probably like quiet about it or just not joining in. Give that person the side eye, because that might be a friend. Majority of the time you'll find that people want you to do great, but they don't want you to do better than them. So you might have a friend that's loyal to you up until you start elevating. All of a sudden you start doing well, or you start accomplishing certain things and hitting certain milestones that maybe they tried and they couldn't succeed in, or maybe they wanted to do but never did it, or let fear hold them back or whatever. And you are doing it, you are doing the thing, and you start realizing that this person's not clapping for you in any shape, way, or form. That's going to be a frenemy. That for sure. I don't even think that's like a hidden thing. Like, it's right in front of you. Like, the proof is in the pudding. They're showing you who they are, because a true friend always wants their friend to elevate, no matter if they have surpassed them. When you are a real person, a true person who actually wants other people to do well, right? And celebrates their success and understands, like, just because you are successful or you're doing well in your life, that doesn't take away from me. And there's enough to go around. Just because you are doing well and you're doing well with money and finances and school, whatever it may be, you know, that doesn't mean that I can't have that too. That doesn't mean that my time is not coming. So a person who's not clapping for you, that's a frenemy, and you need to start thinking about that friendship. The person who only entertains you on their time frame or when it's convenient for them. So that's going to be the friend who only calls you up when they need you. When they're only going to call you up when something is going wrong. When they need that +1 and can't find that person. When they need that other person to come into the trip to make it whole, right? To make it balanced, for them to save money. They feel low and they need you to supply them with that energy. They need your energy to be uplifted. They need you to compliment them and make them feel good. They need you to nourish them and nurture them and feed into them. Beware of those people. Beware of those type of friends. Those are not friends. Those are clear frenemies, because a real friend will always be there for you, whether they're going through something or not, whether they're low or they're not. Like, beware of those people who are only looking for you when they are down and out, right? No matter what position they're in, you should also always be able to nourish and nurture your friendships. Okay, so the next one is going to be the friend who's watching your every move, knows everything that's happening in your life, or wants to know everything that's happening in your life. Who you dating, what's going on, how's the job, how's your money, how's your business, when you're going to have kids, when you're not going to have kids, blah, blah, blah. They're like all in it. They want to know your relationship status, they want to know what's going on in your relationship, and when it comes to their life, they're like, mum's the word. Okay, you want to be real careful with these people, okay? Those people are just fishing for information, and they're just fishing for things to celebrate that's going wrong in your life. That's clearly a frenemy, so beware of that. And sometimes these people use this information against you, so you want to make sure that you're being super cognizant of these types of behaviors. Sometimes they're taking that information and they're sharing that with other people, right? So that for sure is not a friend. If you're confiding in a friend, and I think majority of us have the common sense to know when not to share certain things that we are discussing with others, like it's really on a personal level, right? If you're telling someone you're struggling in your marriage or your relationship or with your significant other, and you're telling them and speaking to them about personal, private things, and then they're waiting, like they're just collecting that information to use it against you or share it in some way, that's not a friend. Now my next one is going to be similar to the one I just spoke about. It's when they gather all that information, they're asking all that information about you, but then you find out that what you're sharing with this friend, it's in everybody else's mouths. It's become gossip, it's become conversation. Other people know about the stuff about you or your personal life or your personal conversations. I will always say and suggest in situations like that, you need to cut that person off. You need to cut that person off. Don't even have a conversation of why you need to cut that person off. When you start noticing that what you are confiding and sharing with a friend is being circulated around, it's not a good look. You don't want your personal business out there. The reason why we have friends and confide in them, because we trust them. We believe that they have like some type of insight that maybe that we're not privileged to, and they can help us. But if they're taking that information and sharing it with others, and sharing it with people that have no business knowing, that's a clear frenemy. And you need to start reevaluating that relationship. My next one is you hear stories from other people that this person is not your friend. So I actually had personal experience with this, and I actually defended that friend, and I wish I hadn't, because that person was clearly right. And the person was not my friend. There was a lot of damage that came from that friendship, not only to me, but to my family, just in general. So I would say, when you hear stories about friends that you are loyal to, and you have people telling you this person is not your friend, I wouldn't say to completely cut off that, relationship or friendship, but I would say just start becoming aware. This is all about being cognizant, like, hey, listen, I need to start looking at this friend a little bit more. Like, are you truly my friend? Are you truly doing things that show me that you are a value of a friend? And do you align to what I define as a friendship? So just be careful with that, because sometimes it could be other people creating, havoc and chaos, and they might be jealous of your friendship and trying to get in between that. So once again, you have to be cognizant. You have to determine, who at this point is telling lies and not being honest with you. But I would just say, make sure that just goes on your radar, and make sure that you are aware and start evaluating this friend and start looking at, this is really my friend? Why is this person saying that? Or maybe start asking that person who says, hey, this person's not your friend, and say, hey, why are you saying that? Why? Like, give me an example, give me a reason of why, why you're saying that. Come with some backup. Now, a clear sign of a frenemy, and I feel like there's no investigation with this, is when a friend knows of a resource or something that could possibly be beneficial or helpful to you and does not share that information. So I'm going to share some little examples how this might play out. You are looking for a car, and they might know someone who's sharing a car of a great value, but they don't want you to have that car. So what they're going to do, they're not going to share that resource and information for you. They may have a connection to a business partner or someone in business that could be helpful to you in your business and get you to the next level, and they don't share that information with you. Frenemy. Okay? They don't want you to elevate and get to the next level. They don't want you to surpass them. They don't want you to succeed. So you want to make sure you're being super cognizant of these types of people. And if you come into information of that, like, you're like, hey, check your friend. Say, hey, listen, I didn't know that you knew so-and-so, or you knew about this, or there was a job, in a job that, came up in your business, or you were connected to this person, and you knew they were hiring. Like, why didn't you let me know? Ask questions. Ask lots of questions to see what they say. And once again, like I always tell people, when 1 + 1 is not equaling 2, you already know. Okay, this is a big one. So they belittle or don't recognize your talents, your uniqueness, or something that you bring to the table that is amazing about you. You know it's amazing. Like, you know what you can do, and you know how, like, you got it in that area, but they never say anything about it. They never recognize it. They never be like, hey, you know what? You did a good job. That speech was amazing. That report you did was, like, everything. Well, you baked that cake and those cupcakes, that was everything. You should probably open a business. When you start noticing that you have a friend around you that does not celebrate or does not say like, hey, good job, or wow, that's amazing, or you made that, like, keep your eye on them. That's all I'm gonna say. Start looking at them with a side eye. You have someone around you that's belittling your talents, that's not recognizing your talents, that's not saluting the great things you do, that's not even saluting good deeds that you might do, things like that. Start being on the lookout. Okay, so my next one is one that a lot of people don't catch on to, and they're just like, oh, whatever, that's just the way the person is. Okay, so that's gonna be the digs, the backhanded compliments, the playful teasing, the putting down, the criticizing in a playful way. Nah, that for sure is a frenemy. They can't get to you, they're not on your level, so they're like, let me bring her down, let me try to bring her down to my level, let me try to break her confidence. They see how amazing you are, they see how talented you are, they see how unique you are. They might think like you're an amazing dresser, like you know how to do this good, you know how to do that good, but they're not gonna tell you that. So what they do, they throw digs. When you are confident in who you are and how you carry yourself, don't let other people try to bring you down with their digs, their backhanded compliments. When they are insecure, they want to throw and pose those insecurities onto you. They want to throw their fears onto you, right? Don't let that happen. So when you have a person like that, that's a frenemy. That's clearly a frenemy. When you have a friend that is rooting for you, they would not do that, right? Now also a friend would not let you go out looking crazy. So if it's something like that, like, you're asking for the opinion, and everybody's like, that dress is horrible. That's not a backhanded friend. That's a friend being honest with you, and they're not, taking pieces of something that's amazing and trying to bring it down. That's different. So you gotta be careful with it too. My next one is when you start gaining and you start winning and you start elevating and you start seeing the fruits of your labor, something amazing blossoming, right? And then your friend is like, oh yeah, I could have did that too. Or I could have did it better. Or they start explaining why they can't have what you have, or why they can't do it the way you did it, or why they didn't want to do it the way you did it, or why they rejected that opportunity, right? Frenemy. That's a frenemy. That's a person who secretly is hating. That's a person who's secretly jealous. They're explaining to you why they could have had what you have, but they chose not to have it, right? Like, oh, I could have had that job too, but then I went towards this job because I thought it was a better opportunity for me and I'm making more money. There's no need for that. There's no need for that. A real friend, will say, oh my God, congratulations, I'm so happy that you're elevating in that job. That's amazing. Boom. They don't have to talk about what they have. They don't have to talk about their opportunities. They don't have to talk about, trying to one-up you and talk about how they're making more money or their job is flourishing. Like, you let your friend have the spotlight. It's not a secret competition, and you'll hear it. You'll hear it in people's words. That's why I say it's so subtle, and we're so used to these type of people, saying things like this that we just let it slide and don't even think about it twice. But let me tell you, a person who's always talking about how they could have done it better, how they rejected that, and almost like, I rejected that, I could have had that too. That's a hater. That's someone who's jealous. The frenemy. The person that does not include you in their events, their lives, their outings. Remember, they're only out for what they gain. So they're only going to invite you to what they feel they need you at, right? This is going back to kind of that friend that only calls you when you can benefit them, and only calls you when they're in need of you, when it's based on their timeline and what fits for their life, and when they're ready to receive you. But when they have things going on, they're not inviting you, they're not checking for you, they're not looking for you, they're not saying, hey, listen, come join my event, hey, come join going on with me, hey, I'm going to invite you to this. No, they only invite you when it benefits them. So be aware of that. That's clearly a friend. The friend that never supports your ventures. No matter what you do, no matter what you get involved in, they are not supportive of you. That's a frenemy. They're secretly jealous of you, they're secretly jealous that they can't do it or do it like you, and so what they do is they don't support you because they believe that without their support, there's just one less person to get you to where you're going. But just remember, whenever you involve in a venture and you get yourself involved in something and you're great at it, it doesn't make a difference. Like, it might be your purpose in life, it might be your destiny. And just because you have these frenemies not supporting you does not mean that you're going to succeed. When you are on a path to success and you're on a path to giving back to others and creating your purpose here on life, The higher beings will make a path and put people in your path that are going to be supportive of you to help you elevate and get you to where you are supposed to be. Okay? So don't worry about those frenemies, but clearly know they are a friend. The friend that spots everything, I mean everything, that's new in your life without even telling them. They notice your new earrings. They notice your new chain. They notice your new watch. They notice your new blouse. They notice your new hair color. They notice everything about you. Okay? And that's because their focus is on you. And their focus is on you for a reason. So beware of that. When people have nothing going on in their life and they're focused on you, that starts to develop into jealousy. And like I said, that jealousy starts to develop into envy. And that's where you want to be careful. When someone is too focused on you, too obsessed with you, you are the focus on their life. You should never be the focus on anyone's life. Not a friend, not even a spouse. Like you're a part of each other's lives. Yes, of course. And of course with a spouse, you're going to notice certain things, right? So it's a little different. But obviously, we all have our own, jobs and lives and things going on with us on a personal level that we're not going to be hyper focused on everything that happens in our lives. And that's what I mean by this person is like cognizant of everything that is new. Like you did something new with your nails, they notice it. You got a new ring, they notice it. Like every single thing. And it's like hyper focused on you. You want to be careful with that. That's like, going into like obsession. And there's a reason for that. And that's because there is an underlying jealousy. So beware of that. That friendship should never, ever have ulterior motives. Should never have mistrust. Should never have second guessing. Should never bring confusion. You should never not know where your friend stands or feel like, what's up with this person? Or this person, they give me this vibe today and they give me that vibe today. Like I feel like they're down for me here and then they're not down for me there. Or I feel like they want to see me grow but not more than them. When you start getting that vibe, it's clear you're around a frenemy. And like I said, majority of the time when you're around a frenemy, you don't get these vibes until way later on when it becomes very clear that this person is doing things to either sabotage you or they don't want you to grow or they don't want you to elevate, and they're blocking you and trying to cause confusion and drama and stress in your life. Usually that's when you start noticing it. And all these other signs are just very subdued, very subtle. And you're not catching on to it, or you're just like, oh, whatever. Or you're just very forgiving of it. Beware of that. Beware of what you're letting slide, because majority of the time they are frenemies. And like I said, sometimes the biggest heartbreak you will ever receive in life is from a friend, someone that you completely trusted, someone that you let into your energy, someone that you would have done, amazing things for, and they're not on the same level because they are jealous of you, and they don't want the best for you, and they don't want you to do better for yourself or to surpass them. They don't want you to get to a point where you're surpassing them, leaving them behind. They want to block that. So you want to be aware of that. Be aware of who you have around you in frenemies, because they could do a lot of damage. Really think about your friendship and what you really want in a friendship and what friendship really means to you. And if you're not seeing it in the people around you, it might be time to move the other way. So guys, that is all I have for you. Check those frenemies, keep them in line, detach from them if you have to, but just be aware. And I will see you in my next one. Bye. Light and love.